The best smile on the web. Earnest Prattle. Laughs, life, love, and everything.
Hello, I'm Paul, and this is an Earnest Prattle special edition. Now, a few years ago, I met a very special individual. Goes by the name of Alistair Morrison. And Alistair, well, turned out to be a world-famous photographer. Now, I got into conversation with Alistair, and he was telling me about all the famous people taking photographs over the years, like, you know, Bob Geldof and Sir Laurence Olivier and, you know, people like Barbara Windsor. But my ears really pricked up when he mentioned Morrissey. And that's when I really got interested. Now, Alistair took an iconic image of Morrissey back in 1987, and through talking to myself, Alistair's realised how much of an icon Morrissey is to myself, but also to all the fantastic people in the moz-army, which is a group of people founded by the lovely Julie Hamill that meet up at the Star and Garter pub in Manchester once a year for an event called the moz-army Meet. Now, we all share the same passion, which is Morrissey and the Smiths. So I pricked Alistair's interest in all things Morrissey and the Smiths, and eventually, through myself and Julie Hamill, I've convinced Mr. Morrison to come and turn up at the event. And he's taken it upon himself to offer that fantastic rare print, which is worth, you know, a substantial amount of money for an auction to raise money for the Star and Garter, which is, you know, I think a fantastic thing. So he's going to come on in a moment and tell you all about it. But just to give you, you know, some guidelines, if you'd like to place a bid for the image, I'll put a copy of the image on the screen so you can have a look at the picture we're referring to. But there'll be an email address up here where you can send bids to. But you also need to know that the bidding will end at 12 midday on Thursday, the 28th of April. So to give you a bit of background and some more details, I shall pass you on to the fantastic bloke who is Alistair Morrison. Take it away, Alistair.
I'm Alistair Morrison. I wanted to tell you a little story about the privilege that I had over the years 2016, 2017, to travel the world to photograph, in the end, 75 of our great music legends. And one of the particular stories that I'll always remember was a day in Boston in the States when in the morning I had the chance to photograph James Taylor. And James Taylor had always been part of my musical life, which probably says how old I am. But ultimately, it was a great moment for me to be able to meet him and photograph him. And then in the afternoon, conversely, I was off to photograph Metallica, a group that had done nothing for me over the years, didn't know much about them, but they were a huge part of music. And the most interesting thing that I got from that visit to the Gillette Stadium, because they were playing that evening, was the moment that I left the stadium, I suddenly realized that there was a tribe, and I mean a tribe, of Metallica fans walking towards me, 75,000 of them. And I thought to myself, isn't that interesting how we all have our favorites? We all are kind of measured, our emotional lives are measured by music and musicians that we love. Now, wind on to 2020, I met a wonderful guy called Paul Wardle through quite by chance. And Paul and I have become great friends. More than friends, we've become brothers. And Paul introduced me to Morrissey. But what Paul didn't realize that back in 1987, I had photographed Morrissey. But I hadn't become a Morrissey fan until Paul told me about his experiences with Morrissey's music and the moz-army. And suddenly I was inundated with a whole bunch of moz-army stories. I met Julie Hamill through it. It just became an important part of my life because I knew that the tribe of moz-army had Morrissey to give them something, some emotional something in their lives. So when I look back at that picture that I did back in 1987, I thought to myself, this picture is more significant than I really imagined. So Paul asked me if I would come, and Julie invited me to come to the Star and Garter in Manchester. Now, I looked it up and I thought, what a great space, what a great tradition this place has. And I understand that because of COVID and because of other circumstances, you know, they are potentially need a little bit of fundraising done. So I put two and two together and I thought, okay, if I'm coming to be a moz-army representative or suddenly infiltrate the tribe, I've been invited to be a tribe member of moz-army, which is cool. I was going to give one of my vintage prints of Morrissey, and hopefully we'll be able to make some money for an institution that really matters. When something has existed for that long and has that tradition, it mustn't die. So here's to the Star and Garter, and put in your bids. It's worth a lot of money. Start at 500 quid. Who's starting at 500? 500? Do I hear 500? Let's go from there, see what we can make. You can send your bids by email to lotsofcharity@icloud.com. I'm sure it will be on your screen soon. Thank you.